Here to encourage, empower, and enlighten women. I am your host, Alyssa Khadija, and this is the Girl I Got You podcast. Hello again, beautiful, amazing, fantastic, fabulous ladies. Welcome back to another episode of the Girl I Got You podcast. We are well into the month of February, and I am so excited about all of the content that I am in the process of creating, and of course in the process of sharing with you, beautiful ladies. So as always, stay tuned for different episodes, events, and things of that nature. Be sure to subscribe, comment, and leave reviews, whether you're listening to me on Spotify or on Apple. Anything counts because we love the engagement and we love the interaction. And if you aren't aware already, February is the love month. We've got Valentine's Day. I think that's really the only thing that's making it the love month, to be honest, but whatever. Nonetheless, February is here. We're almost to Valentine's Day. I think we're about 3 days away. And I am so excited for the Valentine's Day Girls Night. And we are going to be getting together as single ladies and pouring into one another and not only loving on ourselves, but loving on one another as well. So if you'd like to attend, I will go ahead and put that event link down in the comments so you can purchase your tickets. Tickets are $12. After tax, it is $14, obviously to honor February 14th. But without further ado, yesterday I spoke on narcissistic abuse. That was the topic. So yesterday was the part 1 of understanding narcissism and narcissistic abuse. And today is part 2, as I promised. Told you, girl, I'll always deliver. Now, yesterday I defined narcissism, what being narcissistic and what narcissistic abuse is, and some of the key traits to look for in identifying a narcissist, as well as other dynamics and aspects of this personality disorder and everything that goes with it in its entirety. And if you have not already, please go ahead and check out that episode. I think you will definitely like it. Now today, I am going to be talking about the types of role in a narcissistic dysfunctional dynamic. I will be breaking down some of the manipulation tactics that narcissists often use, as promised, and wrapping it all up by sharing ways and tips on how to navigate through narcissistic abuse, how to put yourself first, and how to take care of yourself, of course. Now, without further ado, grab your notebooks, grab yourself a cup of hot ginger tea. I'm not sure wherever you are, but here in the DMV, it is about to snow, and I am ready, darling. When it snows, I go nowhere. So yes, without further ado, let's get into it. So what are the types of roles in a narcissistic dynamic? So in a toxic relationship or a toxic family dynamic, there are certain roles that individuals play, and it's very unconscious. It's something that is learned over time. But I always say everyone plays their role. Everyone. It is this big, bogus production, and the head narcissist is the one that is orchestrating everything. This is typically a matriarch or a patriarch in the family, more so the great-grandparents or the grandparents. See, narcissism is a learned thing, right? When we talk about the physical reality of it, it's something that's learned. And in the spiritual, you already know what I said yesterday. I really believe that these people have some kind of possession, right? Demonic possession. And it makes sense because isn't that the same thing as quote unquote familial spirits? You see what I'm saying? But okay. Now, let's talk about the narcissist. Their role is the central figure who needs validation and control. And their behavior is oftentimes categorized with manipulation, gaslighting, intimidation, abuse, and any other tactic they can use to maintain power. Whereas grandpa or dad or big brother would beat up and bully people around the house and family members in general, maybe grandma or mom or big sister were the covert narcissist, where they're so altruistic and so self-sacrificing, and they're always just the victim in every situation. However, they refuse to actually do anything to better their role and better the position that they're in. You see how it works? Narcissists love to play the victim. And speaking of the victim's role is to be emotionally or psychologically harmed, because these people cannot survive without harming, controlling, or abusing someone else. They only have power as long as you're there to be their victim. Now, the victim oftentimes experiences confusion, self-doubt, self-blame. They feel trapped and helpless, oftentimes because the victim is a codependent. And if you have not already, please go check out the episode of Anxious Attachment and the episode on people pleasing, because I think that will kind of help you understand more about codependency, anxious attachment, people pleasing, and the works. So a good example of the victim would be they are someone who tries to meet the narcissist's constantly shifting expectations, and they usually end up feeling drained. So back in the day, because you know my stories, there was a guy, and I think I've spoken about him before, but I'm not going to give the whole story. With him, he seemed like such a cute, he was dark chocolate. He had the waves. He was a Kappa, from Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. All of the girls wanted him. And so did I. Oh, please. I wanted him so bad. But as usual, he did not know that I existed. And to make him know that I existed, I would offer to do things for him, right? I would be cooking him food, bringing it to his dorm, buying him whatever he wanted, particularly, and sometimes he didn't even ask me to do it. I'm just like, hey, I know it's almost your birthday. I'm going to buy you this. I'm going to buy you that, whatever. Looking back, because I did start college at a young age, I was maybe 17 and 18 years old in love with guys who were well into their 20s. And I was just so young and naive. And I felt like I had to audition for this guy's love, but nothing I did ever seemed to be enough. And I'm not saying that he narcissistically abused me, but I will definitely say that he was a narcissist. He was always the center of attention. He was so great. He knows all, he sees all, he's everything, right? And I just could not help myself but be captivated by this man's mojo and whatever have you. And the reason I brought that up is a lot of the times, especially when we grow up as people pleasers, we learn to take care of people's needs. No matter how ridiculous the request, we are always taking care of other people's needs. And when you are in a toxic or dysfunctional relationship or family dynamic, whichever one you want to call it, because narcissism, it's not something that's just in relationships. This goes into the workplace, into the church, into the mosque. It's intersectional. But you're constantly trying to please and serve them, but you cannot. Pleasing them is like a moving target, and you are not meant to win. You are meant to lose and continue losing. It's like a jackpot. You're at the casino, you're putting in dollars, you are putting in your time and your energy, and you're just like, okay, I've got to pull the slot one more time. I'm going to pull it one more time. And you keep putting in, hoping that you're going to win the jackpot. Oftentimes you never do. And this is how sinister and how orchestrated narcissistic abuse and the dynamics that are created within it actually is. Now, number 3, the enabler. Okay. The enabler is oftentimes the partner. Sometimes it can be a friend or other family members. And this is someone who unconsciously supports or defends the narcissist's behavior. From the outside looking in, you would say you two are absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I know Stacy stole your car and she slept with your boyfriend, but you know she loves you. That's your aunt. That's an enabler. The aunt is the narcissist. And for some reason, I don't understand why these people can never just be upfront. If you don't like me or you hate me, just say it. I would rather you tell me to my face that you hate me than pretend to be somebody who cares for me, all while having malice and ill will towards me in your heart. But okay. Their behavior is to enable the narcissist and make excuses for their actions. They overlook the abuse, or they even side with the narcissist over the victim. Prime example. A man cheats on his wife. Let's say he's a serial cheater, right? And he lives with his wife, his son, and him. So it's the 3 of them in the house. The husband cheats and cheats and cheats, and the wife makes excuse after excuse after excuse. Now the son will say, Mom, I don't like that you're being disrespected. I don't like that Dad is taking advantage of you. And rather than just be reasonable and actually listen to the son, who's oftentimes going to be the victim, because when the narcissist and the enabler get together, usually the victim is the child or somebody who they perceive to be lesser than them. That's the victim. I know it's a lot, but just follow me here. Now, if you remember yesterday's episode, I talked about the covert narcissist and the overt narcissist. Now, the narcissist is just overt, right? Just the regular, grandiose, look at me, I'm so important. It's my way or the highway. Grandiose, right? The enabler would be considered the covert narcissist. To everyone else, the enabler looks like they're a victim. The enabler looks so sorry and defeated and so small to everyone else. But behind closed doors, the enabler is oftentimes just as narcissistic as the overt narcissist. Follow me here. So you got the enabler, the covert, you got the regular narcissist, the overt, and then the victim in between, or the victims. Because anybody could be a victim. Even if you have grandparents who are narcissistic, and then you have parents that are narcissistic, your parents can be victims of those narcissists, and then you'll be the victims of everybody. So it's just, I'm going to have an event on this so I can really sit and hone in and clarify. Now, there are different types of victims in these situations, right? Number 1 would be the scapegoat. And I used to consider myself as a scapegoat. Now I'm re-identifying myself. But the scapegoat's role is to be the person or the child in the family who is blamed for everything that goes wrong. So your parents are getting a divorce, or they're fighting, arguing, or whatever, and some way, somehow, you're to blame. They frequently blame and criticize this scapegoat, this individual, even for things outside of their control. You always do this. You always mess me up. See, if you didn't do this, then we would be on time for whatever event that we're going to. It's always blame. Oftentimes the scapegoat is seen as the bad child. So nobody really knows why the scapegoat or that child is considered bad, because let's be real, most of us came from very dysfunctional family dynamics. And so many people get lost in the dynamic and they unconsciously take on a role. However, because I have chosen to not follow the path, not just go in the direction that was set for me, but to create my own direction, I see these things. So I grew up watching one of my little cousins just being labeled as bad. And even now, I genuinely believe that people see him as bad. Granted, he might not do the best in school. Okay. But it's just like, what makes him bad exactly? Just because you guys found somebody to conveniently blame for everything? So the scapegoat is the person who's blamed. If you think about the Old Testament, right? And I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but there was the lamb and the goat. And the goat was the one who would take on everyone's sins and be sacrificed, burned at the stake, sacrificed to God. Hence the term scapegoat. And then because that wasn't sufficient anymore, Jesus came down as the Lamb of God. You see how that works? So I just want to kind of explain that dynamic to you about the scapegoat and where it came from. Then the next dynamic or the role would be the hero. Now, this is also known as the golden child. So what is the golden child? This is the person or child that often tries to be perfect within the family dynamic, and they do this to get validation or approval. Keep in mind that all of these roles are interchangeable. One day you might be the scapegoat. 3 months later, you might be the golden child. And then 2 years down the line, you're the lost child, right? But again, I'm going to have an event on this because it's so much that you really need to have time to really explain it. But okay, the golden child. They are often the child who is molded by the narcissistic parents, whether we're talking about a family or this is just one of the aspects of the narcissist in a relationship. They are perfect. Everybody loves them. Oh, Alyssa, well, I'm not even going to use myself as an example. Oh, Stacy, why are you always complaining about George? George is a good guy. He's smart and he's handsome and he's intelligent. Yeah, because George is playing a role. George knows how to butter y'all up and you eat it up on a scone. But okay. They often work hard to gain approval. And sometimes the golden child will be an abuser or a narcissist to the other children in the family dynamic, especially the scapegoat. Everyone gangs up on the scapegoat. So just remember that the hero/golden child is just this perfect miniature narcissist. Okay. And the last is the lost child. And this is especially true for dynamics where there are 3 or more children, particularly 3. So the older child, how it usually goes is the oldest child is the golden child. The second child is the lost child, the middle child. And sometimes that middle child is also the scapegoat. And then the youngest child can also be the golden child as well. So it's like the youngest child gets treated like they could do no wrong. They're perfect, whatever have you. The middle child is just unseen and unheard. Nobody cares about them. And then the oldest child, their dynamic, their role, it's so much. Their role, everyone's role is interchangeable. Nobody is ever just one role for far too long. Because remember now, the narcissists and their needs are ever changing. Sometimes they might be upset at child 1 for no reason, and then they feel guilty about it, so they try to love bomb child 1. Girl, listen, the event, okay? But anyway, the lost child is the child that tends to be in the middle. They are quiet, more so withdrawn. They don't receive the same favoritism or attention as the first child and the third child get. And sometimes they are doing this and staying away to avoid the narcissist's wrath. Because one thing about narcissists, especially if we're going to talk about narcissistic parents or just narcissists within our family dynamics, they are very angry people. They can pretend to be kind and caring and altruistic to everyone else outside of the family. But if you are with them in private, you know exactly who and what they are. They're very wrathful. They're very emotionally unstable. They're always ready, especially when it's a parent, and I'll say it, with their children. There was a story, trigger warning, of a mother. She's a piss poor excuse of a mother, but a mother nonetheless, that beat her 14-year-old son to death. And this was very recent, within the last week. Beat her 14-year-old son to death for over an hour. She beat him with an extension cord because he didn't do his quote-unquote chores. That mother was a fucking abuser, and she was a narcissist. And like I said, I am rightfully upset. And just like those, you know, how she hurt her son, is the same way I hope that those women in prison whoop her ass. I hope they beat that bitch's ass for the rest of her life in prison. And I said it. I have no remorse for her at all. And her boyfriend, another narcissist, was in the room, in another room, heard all of this happening and did absolutely nothing. This is what I mean when I say a narcissistic couple and the victim that they usually beat up on. And I'm sure that this is not the first time that 14-year-old boy had been beaten, but unfortunately, this was his last. And I'm thankful that, he's gone on and he's not in pain anymore and having to suffer. But it's just so sad. And I truly believe that a lot of parents, listen, I know that we're free the people, whatever. But I truly believe that there needs to be stipulations, and there needs to be very much so stricter laws on who is able to have children, because a lot of people are out here having kids for no fucking reason. They cannot take care of these kids, nor do they have any desire to take care of these children. And then you wonder why society looks the way that it looks, because a lot of these parents are shitty and they are piss poor excuses for parents. They have no concern about their children's well-being, no concern about their safety, no concern about their lives or their livelihood, no concern about their mental and emotional and psychological well-being. And before anybody tries to give me the fucking excuse, well, there's not a manual, there's no guidebook. Oh, please. They've been making guidebooks on how to actually raise children since at least the 1940s, just to start. 2, let's not sit here and pretend that anybody forced you people to have these kids. Nobody told you to lay down spread eagle, and nobody told him to get all crazy and paint your walls. I said it. You people, and I don't mean I'm not talking to anyone specifically that's listening to the podcast, but just in general, people are having children for no reason. And then you wonder why CPS is getting called constantly. Now, I'm not for abortion. I am for responsibility. How about just, staying abstinent? Using protection? I mean, you would think with the 1,000,001 contraceptives that are just out here for men and women, you would think that you people would have an easier time not getting pregnant or impregnating someone. And then the cycle continues of the absent father and the single mom, especially in some communities, not saying any names. Now, with that said, what are some of the narcissistic manipulation and abuse tactics they use? I mentioned yesterday that the silent treatment is a abuse method or a manipulation tactic that a lot of narcissists use. So that's when they're upset, they're leaving you on red. When they're upset, they are not answering your phone calls. When they're upset, they'll be around you, but they won't speak to you. They'll just be very passive aggressive. Because you have to understand, a lot of narcissists are fucking children in adult bodies. They never matured emotionally, and so they are 8 years old in a 48-year-old's body. You see how that works? They act like fucking children. I don't get my way, so I'm going to throw a tantrum. I don't get my way, so I'm going to not talk to you. I don't get my way, so I'm going to fight you and beat you up and take your stuff. You're a fucking child. But okay. They use a range of manipulation tactics because the whole point is to maintain control and power. And when they don't have power over you anymore, they will do anything to get it back, including employing those enablers and flying monkeys, right? So the flying monkeys, just a quick side note, flying monkeys are usually people that are outside the relationship or outside of the home, right? That the narcissists will tell, oh, my kids are so bad, I don't know what's wrong with them. Oh, Shawnice, she's just crazy. She's tripping right now, whatever. The whole point of the flying monkeys is for them to group harass you and peer pressure and bully you back into submission to remain being abused. And I'll give a good example of that. I love to use cheating as an example. Let's say Stacy cheats on her husband. Let's just flip the script. Or better yet, no, we'll keep the script exactly how it is. Let's just say Stacy's husband cheats on her. Stacy is done. Stacy is hurt. Rightfully, Stacy is disappointed. Now, Stacy tells her friends and her family members and other women who she considers to be her friends. Now, all of those friends say, Stacy, no, don't leave. I know that he's been doing this or he's done it once or twice. I know you're hurt and disappointed, but stay. Try to work it out with him, Stacy. You don't want to look like Mrs. Jenkins, whose husband left her. This is what flying monkeys do. Their only purpose is to help the narcissist subdue you back into submission so they can keep abusing you. Now, other things that they will do is gaslight you. Now, we've heard the word gaslighting used many times. But what it is it's a psychological tactic where the narcissist causes you, the victim, to doubt your perceived reality. So that would be telling you that your memory of an event is wrong or that you're too sensitive. Oh, I never did that. That's crazy. I would never do something like that. I had an ex-boyfriend. I think me and him dated in late 2022, early 2023. And at first he started out really nice, as they usually do. But then over time, he got very verbally abusive, right? He would harass me. I mean, he would talk to me like I was stupid, like I couldn't boil water, like I couldn't do anything. And other people noticed. And only one of my friends said something, right? But other people, maybe they noticed, maybe they didn't, but you get the point. Like only one person said something. And even when people would ask him about us, especially my family, he would be very, oh yeah, let's talk about it. Let's put our business on the table, because he was getting that attention factor. And I honestly think he was very jealous of me. So maybe in all of that, he wanted to sabotage me as well, right? And I can never forget when I was having my mental health crisis. And I think that one of these days, yes, I'm going to do In the Love series for February, because it has been almost 2 years. So in 2023, February of 2023, I was drugged. And I was lost in the woods all over the state. I even ended up in a different state in that month, right after Valentine's Day. It was a whole situation. And so I think to honor that, I am going to share that story with you all, because not only is it a story of God's grace in my life, but I want you guys to know some of the experiences that I've had and know that I'm not perfect. I didn't come from some perfect background, but this is just my life. But when I was having that mental health crisis and I was on the floor in the corner of my mom's bathroom screaming into the corner and weeping my eyes out, he comes to the bathroom door And he's like chuckling and asking me like, oh, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? What's going on? And then I hear the camera, when you press the record button on an iPhone and you hear that little click, like it's like a beep. I don't know what it is, but you can hear when someone starts recording. He was recording me on the floor, screaming and losing my mind. And and it's funny because he's the one who pushed me into that mental health crisis. Granted, I was drugged, but it's just such a long story. Point being, I had told him about some of the things that I experienced when I was a kid, and he really violated me with what he did. And I'll share that detail in the episode about that whole situation. But when I realized he violated me, oh, my mind spiraled. And then you come to the bathroom and you record me. Really? And, I have to end up going to the mental hospital after they find me in Pennsylvania somewhere. And I'm there for a week and I leave the hospital and he's still, staying with us. And he's just like, talking down to me again. And I can recall feeling triggered, and I left out of the house and I called my aunt and I said, honestly, I feel the same way that I felt that first day that I ran away. Please come get me because I cannot do this. He really hurt me. He really hurt me. Not just like as a guy I was talking to or dealing with, but just as a person, to think back to the things that he really did to me. And when you see me now, I'm a sign and I'm a wonder. And I don't look like or sound like any of the things that I've gone through. But trust me when I say I have been hurt so many times in life. But even to this day, he'll still try to call me. And, whenever I answer, I have an attitude. He's like a family friend, so he's always going to be around somewhere. I have an attitude when he calls because I'm like, what the fuck do you want? Because what a lot of times men will do, they will know that they have fucked you over and they'll know that they have hurt you. But what they'll do is give you some space and then they'll reach out again, right? And test the waters and see if you've forgiven them or if your guard is down because they want to come back and have sex with you. Fucking imagine. You quite literally have scarred me and you leave scotch-free. And then when it's convenient for you, you come back like you didn't do shit just because you want to fuck? And this is why I am happily single. I am done with men for right now. Unless God tells me, hey, I got your husband right there at the intersection between A and D. No, I'm done. Because the hassle and the heartache and the treachery and the abuse and the trauma that we have to experience as women is not worth the lacking penis, the bare minimum, the bills that you're not getting paid, that are not getting paid. It's not worth it. So that's the gaslighting, right? What did I do to you? Why are you treating me this way? I just block him and go. I haven't blocked him on Instagram yet. Or did I? Listen, he's blocked. We don't talk like that. But that's gaslighting, right? I'm going to make you doubt yourself. Because if you doubt yourself, you're more likely to believe me. And as a manipulator and as a narcissist, you believing in me is all I need to control you and have power over you. So number 2 would be love bombing, right? And these are the manipulation tactics that narcissists use. So love bombing. Now, it is excessive flattery and attention given very early in a relationship to win someone over. So let's just say you meet a guy and you've known him for maybe a week and a half or 2. And all of a sudden he's telling you, oh, I'm so in love with you. Because initially he's going to want to talk to you every day. That's love bombing, right? He's going to call you constantly. How are you doing, beautiful? What's going on with you? I'm thinking about you. It's love bombing. He's going to tell you, I love you. I feel like I've known you before. Our chemistry, I feel this connection. Love bombing. He wants you to put your guard down so that you can trust him very quickly, so that he can get what he wants from you very quickly. You see how that works? Girl, and listen, like I said, I got stories. Stories for days. I had met a guy in this like HBCU group chat, right? He inboxed me separately and, he seemed cute. I was like, okay, well, maybe we should just hang out and see what it's like, And before you think that I was just out here being a harlot, I wasn't. But because I was so adamant about not being single or not being by myself, I always felt like I needed to be in a relationship. And this is why I have vowed to myself, 2025, I will not date, talk to, sleep with anyone. I am good. But nonetheless, he tells me, yeah, I'll come over to your dorm. We could just hang out in the car, have car conversation, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So me being Molly the maid, I cook food, macaroni and chicken and potatoes and vegetables, doing wife things for a man that is not my husband, but okay. So I bring it out to the car and we're talking. He cleans the plate. I mean, you would think that the plate was like a fucking mirror, how shined it was, how he cleaned that plate, okay? And once his stomach was full, we're talking, we're having conversation, and he's telling me his sob story and trying to gain empathy and sympathy from me. And, you're beautiful, and I just love how your eyes look, and you're this, that, and the third. And he continues talking me up and then tries to say, so what do you want to do? You want to go on the back seat? No, I don't want to go on the back seat. Why? Why do you don't want to go on the back seat? Because, for one, what are we going to do on the back seat? I knew, but I'm like, why are we going to the back seat? I mean, we're in the car in the parking lot behind the student cafe at 8 p.m. in December. It's freezing out here. I don't know you. We're in the car. I mean, what are we going to do? And so he tries to convince me, please, I've always wanted a girl like you. You're thick and you're beautiful. And, we could try and see what happens and work it out. Whatever. I was adamant and I said, no, I do not want to do that. And the switch flips in his mind and he starts threatening me. See, he's from Chicago. And I truly believe that men from Chicago should only date women from Chicago, because you cannot take that city shit and come over here to the country, south, suburbs, whatever you would consider the DMV, and try it, because that's some other stuff. And I kid you not, I always have the man voice. See, that's what's wrong with you bitches. You bitches make it seem like you need a nigga to hit you or something for y'all to listen. When I tell you that my eyes were as wide as the sky, I was like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, why are you doing all that? I just met you. You can't be reasonable with abusers and narcissists. They're out of their fucking minds. And this is why I say a lot of men need to be tranquilized, medicated, and submitted, institutionalized, and committed to some form of mental facility, because they are batshit crazy. Yeah, y'all bitches make it seem like you need a nigga to hit you to listen. That's what's wrong with y'all. Get the fuck out of my car. You do not have to ask me twice. You do not have to ask me twice. I got out of the car, closed my door. Okay. I closed the door and I am bobbing and weaving and ducking and dodging through the cars in the parking lot, because I'm thinking, okay, this nigga is going to shoot me. And I told you yesterday, and I'll say it again, it's only, let me use my Nigerian accent because my dad is half Nigerian. It is only the grace of God I did not die It is only the grace of God that I am here. Okay? Because there's no way, like some of the shit that I used to experience in college, like literally only God. Okay? So I, slither back to my dorm feeling so pathetic. And then I lock the door and I just stand there in silence for a second. Because I have never had a man, especially in a romantic setting, threaten to beat me before. And this is the craziest shit that I will tell you. The next day, he texts me. He's like, hey, baby, how are you? I had a real good time with you last night. Let's try again. Huh? Sir, you're lucky I don't call the fucking authorities and have your ass arrested. And so many girls, so many young girls, college-age girls and women in general, we think that this abusive, toxic shit is fucking normal. No, he should not be Jekyll and Hyde. Every other day he's switching characters. One day he's the villain, one day he's the hero. It's crazy making behavior. And this is also a manipulation tactic that narcissists use. They're very aware of what they're doing, and they're doing things to make you feel like you are crazy so you can continue doubting yourself and that you will be more susceptible to be manipulated, controlled, and abused. Crazy making behavior, which would be like number 3 on the list here. You just turn off the lights. They come back, they turn the light on. And then they ask you, hey, did you turn the lights off? And you go check, and the lights are on. And you're like, huh? But I could have swore I turned the lights off. Okay, you turn them off, they turn them on again. And then they ask you, hey, what's up with the lights? I thought you turned them on. You're like, okay, I could have swore that I turned the lights off. And their whole goal is to make you think that you are crazy. And I'm so sorry if you can hear something in the background. It's just so much. It's like I can never just find the perfect place to just record. If 1,000,001 people are not calling, then there's everything happening in the background outside. There's planes falling. There's a herd of elephants blowing their trumpets. I mean, you've got the Daytona 500 apparently just zipping and zooming. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. But pray for me, guys. Pray for me. I know I am a one-woman army, but just pray for me that I get the things and the setup and the space that I need to just be able to not only record, but to be really grounded and centered in what I'm doing. Because sometimes it's hard to record and then I'm worried, like, oh my God, somebody's going to call me 10 times or, somebody's car is going to blow up and fucking kill everybody. It's just a lot. So please pray for me. But yes, crazy making behavior. Number 4 on the list would be triangulation. So this is when the narcissist puts 2 or more people against each other to further manipulate and control them. So prime example, I'm not talking to her. You tell her that I said X, Y, Z. And I bet you didn't know that she said this about you. So now that second person who's going to go talk to her has a grudge. Oh, well, she said to tell you that she don't want to talk to you and she doesn't like you. And what did you say about me? She said that you said that. It's a lot of he said, she said, triangulation. It is a very calculated thing. And oftentimes, especially in a narcissistic family dynamic, the head narcissist is going to pit one child against the others against one child, or whatever. The narcissist must sow division in between their children, because if their children actually came together and talked, they would realize, hey, yeah, our parents have been manipulating us this whole time, and it's absolutely insane. So they have to maintain the facade, maintain the enmeshment. And what enmeshment is pretty much the image that the family portrays to the world of unity and perfection. So if let's just put it in a practical way. If there are 10 people and 9 of those people have on white t-shirts, and the 10th person has on a red t-shirt, all 9 of those people are going to look at that one person and say, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just be normal like everybody else? Why are you deviating away from this perfect image that we have created? And oftentimes that person will be booted out of the group, booted out of the family, and everybody will talk about that person, right? That person is the enemy. And there's one more role that I forgot to mention. I'm just giving it to you like just as it comes. That person who oftentimes leaves or gets pushed out of the family becomes the black sheep. So the black sheep is the one who escapes, and everybody paints them to be crazy. Everybody paints them to be a problem or whatever. The scapegoat oftentimes becomes the black sheep. It's very crazy stuff. And it's so sad that so many people don't know about this. And I'm so happy that I found out and spent some time really digging deep into it. I would recommend, if you want to learn more about narcissism and narcissistic abuse, you should follow the Spiritual Whistleblower. She has YouTube videos, and she also has, social media, TikTok, Instagram as well. Dr. Ramani is also really good. And I'm going to actually link some different YouTube videos down where you can kind of understand what I'm talking about in terms of narcissism and the dynamics. Because there are great male content creators as well that talk about this topic. So I will share those with you and give you a peek into some of the videos that helped me along my earlier stages of healing from narcissism and all manners of nonsense with it. Projection is number 5. Now, projection is just what it sounds like. The narcissist accuses others of behaviors or thoughts they are actually guilty of. And an example of this would be them accusing you of being selfish while they are constantly acting in self-serving ways. Another good example, I'll say, there is this woman that comes onto the live streams on the app that I stream on. And she's always talking about, I'm jealous of her. You're jealous of me, Alyssa. You want to be like me. You're jealous. That's like amongst the other horrendous things she calls me. She says that I'm jealous of her. But I'm like, you met your match with me. Bitch, I'm going to dog you out the same time, every time. Every day at 12 p.m., I'm going to dog your raggedy ass out. I'm going to dog you out the same way every single day. And you're not going to do anything about it because you can't. And I say to her, now, let's be real. What exactly do you have that I would be jealous of? If anything, it just seems like you're jealous of me because I'm better than you. And sometimes you got to pop your shit. I am better than her. I say, I'm not going to argue with you because you can't even go to the local nail salon and get your toes done. You don't have any accolades. You're getting an SSI check and you're sitting over your house miserable, sad, and lonely. I have nothing to be jealous of. And this is what I mean by projection. They're actually feeling what they are projecting onto you. So they're jealous, but they're saying that you're jealous. Same thing with the election. Now, I don't want to get political here, but it just seems to me that the Democrats are projecting all of what they're actually guilty of onto Republicans. Because has anybody ever noticed how angry and vile and just venomous and bitter a lot of liberals and Democrats are? And a good example of this would be how do you get under a social media post of a mother simply saying that her baby is premature, but she loves her baby? And as a quote unquote loving and tolerant liberal are going to say, well, I hope that baby dies. You don't deserve her. You probably should have aborted the baby anyway. I mean, there's nothing loving or tolerant about that. But yet Republicans are painted to be angry and hateful and racist, even though I've had Democrats and liberals call me the N-word with the hard ER, call me monkeys and tell me that Trump is going to send me back to the plantation. And I say, imagine you are a liberal calling Trump a racist, but then are also calling me, a black person, a N-word and a monkey, and comparing me to a slave. So personally, it's all hypocrisy, all of it. It's just nonsense. And we've already gone over the silent treatment. I think there's about 2 more on my list, and then I'm going to go over some of the ways to protect yourself from narcissistic abuse, and then we're going to wrap it all up. So blame shifting is when they avoid taking responsibility by shifting the blame on others. I have an aunt like that. Nothing is ever her fault. She can do no wrong. And anytime she's addressed on her wrongdoings, because she'll never take accountability. Even last night, she was telling us, oh, well, you're choosing my husband's side and you're choosing their side over mine. Ma'am, you literally confessed to another man that you are in love with him. You were in a bath towel in the bathroom with another man that's not your husband while he was shirtless, and y'all had the door closed, and you think that we're supposed to enable your raggedy ass behavior? No. Oh, well, you don't know what he did. You don't know. Take fucking accountability. Accountability? Narcissists will never take accountability. They're always going to point fingers and blame everybody else, even people who have nothing to do with whatever's going on. Oh, well, if that dog wasn't over there, then I would have kept my head straight and I wouldn't have crashed this truck. Okay. But this is the thing about blame shifting. Only you are going to suffer, mainly, from the consequences of your actions. Yeah, other people might get hurt in the process, but prime example, if you choose to rob the gas station and murder the clerk, when you go to court and try to give them that blame shifting bullshit, oh, well, my mom said she needed some beans, and if my daddy was there, and that Kirk looked at... No. The only person going to prison for that is you. You do the crime, you do the time. But to narcissists, they do the crime, everybody else does the time. And it's so fucking backwards. Last one, for now, is hoovering. And hoovering is when the narcissist tries to reel you back in after you have distanced yourself, whether it is deliberately or unintentionally, and try to leave. So this could be a son moving out after experiencing years of narcissistic abuse and physical abuse and whatever have you in the home. And when he moves out, then the same parents that were abusing him are going to, catch this, love bomb him. Have you eaten, son? We miss you. Your sister thinks about you every day. She keeps asking when you're going to come home. I know that things didn't really work out with us, as a family, but please, son, we want you to come back home. They don't give a fuck about you. They are only love bombing you so that you can say, oh, right, well, I'll just give them another chance. Because narcissists, and this is why it's so emotional and sinister, they are banking on you being emotional and feeling guilt. If you don't feel guilt about anything, it's very hard for a narcissist to manipulate you. Prime example, people will try to say, like people who have wronged me, right? Or they tried to attack me personally in the past, whatever have you, especially in like social settings. And then when I see them and they try to say, oh, Alyssa, we're still cool, right? We're still friends. I'll just say, bitch, you could be friends with these nuts. I don't care. Oh, well, I thought that you thought the fuck wrong. We're not friends. I don't like you. I'm very quick to tell somebody I don't like them. Like up front, I don't care. Oh, well, I don't like you. We're not friends and we will never be friends. I don't like you. It's just that simple. It's not too hard. But you have to have like an emotional backbone. I'm fucking Teflon, okay? And this is what I mean, because baby, I've been through some shit. I have been through some shit. And I was not always Teflon, because in years prior, I was very soft in the heart, weak in the knees, naive in the mind. I led with my heart. I wore my heart literally on my sleeve. And my emotions were all over the place. And it was just so much. It was just so much. And me wearing my heart on my sleeve, it got scuffed. It got stolen a couple of times. It got broken. It got torn off. I mean, my heart on my sleeve got me nowhere. And now that my heart is Teflon and bulletproof, it's just like, what can you really say to me now? If I need to go cry, I'm going to cry to God. Not crying to you people. But, seeing, this is what happens when you are a soldier of love. But nonetheless, hoovering. Same thing with in an abusive relationship. Baby, I know I cheated on you. I know I did you wrong. But please, I'm going to kill myself if you don't come back. I love you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to change. I'm going to do better. Even though he has no intention or she has no intention of choosing or wanting to do better, they are just trying to suck you back in like a Hoover vacuum. So that's where the name Hoover comes from. So the Hoover vacuum, you suck it in, right? They suck you back in. And then once you come back into the dynamic, they're just going to continue abusing you. They never fucking change. And this is why I'm so ruthless and heartless when it comes on to narcissists. Bitch, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you feel. I don't care how many of your raggedy ass friends feel the same way that you do. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you about yourself. I'm going to tell you to your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I want y'all to know, right? Because maybe your inner child might be afraid to speak up. You're afraid subconsciously, even as an adult, to be hit or to be punished or to be beaten. Nobody is going to punish you because they cannot. You're a grown-ass woman. You're a grown-ass man, a grown adult in general, whoever's listening. And they cannot do to you what they used to do to you as a child. So fuck them. Speak your mind. Find your way, go about your business, and if you need to, we're going to discuss that. If you need to, we're going to discuss what you need to do. Last but not least, how do you protect yourself from narcissistic abuse? And this is why I said if you need to, because that was like I was going to use that as a segue into my, couple of tips. Number one is if you need to, go no contact or low contact. If it's possible, the best course of action is to cut them the fuck off completely. And the reason I'm so annoyed, I feel like you can hear the annoyment. I don't even know if that's a word. You can hear that I'm annoyed in my voice because these people are only God knows. These people are insatiable. They are merciless. They are ridiculous. There is no end with them. The only end to it is cutting them the fuck off. Hence, no contact. Block them on every single platform. Do not answer their calls. If they keep trying to harass you, pull out a restraining order or get the authorities involved. Do not contact them. If it's somebody that you have to be in contact with, let's say your child's parent, you're co-parenting. Let's say it's an elderly parent and you can't, bring yourself to completely just say to hell with them. I get it. We're all people. Nobody ever just wants to cut off the people that they love. But for the sake of your mental health, for the sake of your well-being, your growth, your development, for the sake of the future generations of your loins, you have to do the bitter work, or your family is just going to have one more cycle of the same bullshit that they've been experiencing. We are here to break these generational pathologies. I don't believe that they're curses. They're pathologies. The way that you believed or somebody in your family believed is what they taught you to believe. And you taught your children to believe, and thus the cycle continues. It's not a curse. It's just a pathology. Now, when we get to the things that are outside of our control, okay, yeah, we might have to go into the spiritual realm. But the point being, generational curse, generational trauma I guess, yeah. Generational trauma, generational pathology, it's all the same shit. Now, nobody wants to cut off their family members, but if you cannot go no contact, go low contact. Move to another fucking country if you want to or if you need to. Remove them from your life completely and perhaps your life will improve, especially if you know that you are not crazy, because 9 times out of 10, you're not crazy. Your family is, or your partner was, or your ex is, whoever. And this is not me trying to be narcissistic and say, okay, everybody else is the problem. But when you know that you've actually done literally everything you can do to make amends or rectify a relationship or fix and heal things in yourself, and they just do not care, it's time to go. Don't do more than you can do, and don't do more than they're willing to do for themselves. But okay. Number 2 will be setting boundaries. And we've talked about boundaries on here before. If you haven't, please go check out the boundary episode. But setting clear boundaries is crucial. Please do not touch me. If you touch me, we're going to have a problem. That is a clear boundary. I'm asking you nicely, do not touch me. That's a boundary. Of course, they're going to test the boundaries because they want to see if you're really standing on your shit. Because again, a lot of them, they operate out of, control and power. They want you to be afraid. They want to intimidate you. So who do you think you are setting boundaries? Let me violate them, right? If you don't set them and stand on them, they're going to violate them. And this is why during the Find Your Inner Bitch workshop, I said that there needs to be consequences for people breaking or violating your boundaries. It's not just, oh, well, maybe I'll set a boundary next week, or I know I said that I didn't want them to touch me, but maybe they could touch me a little. Do not touch me at all. You have to be firm with these people and let them know that you're not fucking around. That's the only way. And sometimes they're going to do like a, girl, I could be here all day. They do something called the bait and switch, right? They will antagonize you purposefully. And when you blow up and when you react, they switch into the victim and say, oh my God, why are you reacting like that? Why are you doing that? All I did was try to help you. They know what they're doing. They want you to look crazy. And this is why I have no sympathy or empathy for narcissists, because they only hurt other people and then complain to everyone else that they're the ones that are being hurt. They're hypocrites. They're fucking liars. They're abusers, and I'm pretty sure that they're possessed by demons. But okay. Education and awareness. This podcast was very informative. This episode, or this 2-part series episode, very informative. This is an example of education. And like I said, I'm going to put some of those other content creators and some of their YouTube videos so you can get a little bit more education on what narcissism is. And I mean, it is a rabbit hole, a literal rabbit hole of just so much information and awareness. Trust yourself. Trust that feeling that says, hey, something's not right here. I don't like how I feel. What is that? Energy doesn't lie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to continue doing this podcast. I'm going to continue educating women. I'm going to continue hosting these events so you get the education and you get to develop your awareness and your discernment about some of these things. And last but not least, for the sake of time, seek support. Girl, there are support groups. I have put my women's group, my meetup group, in yesterday's episode, the first part of this, episode, yesterday. It's so weird. I'm trying to find the right way to put it. The first part of this 2-part episode, I was going to do like one whole episode, but it was just so long. And even now I'm getting to that like hour mark. And honestly, you're just going to get the real me and you're going to get me raw and uncut. And that's okay. But find support groups. I'll post my support group down in the comment, or down in the description rather, at the end of the episode. Find a therapist. Confide in trusted friends, trusted family, because you cannot trust everyone in your family. Your family is the ones who created the buttons, and they know how to push them. They're the ones who traumatized you. Do not expect them to untraumatize you. Don't do it. People that you trust. There are levels of trust, and you need to have the discernment and the self-love to at least say, okay, I'm not going to trust myself or my heart with just anyone. Trust is earned. It is not something that should be given freely. You wouldn't give anybody your bank account information freely. See, I'm about to start preaching. You wouldn't give somebody your bank account information freely. You wouldn't go up to a random stranger in the middle of New York and give them your social security. You would not go to some random place and hand over somebody your house keys. You wouldn't do that. Y'all barely even give other people the password to your phone. But when it comes on to things like your trust, your heart, and your body, i.e. your coochie, hey, we're just giving it out freely. So backwards, I swear. But seek support. There are so many different groups out here, and I'm going to put those resources in the description, like I said. But there is actually something called CODA. So just like how they have the Alcoholics Anonymous, they have Codependents Anonymous, and they have meetup groups, similar fashion, how they have AA meetings. CODA meetings are set up almost just the same. And like I said, in me doing this whole thing and like working on myself, girl, I went down so many avenues. I was at the CODA meetings. I was looking up different groups and places and who to be and where to go and what to do. And Meetup was very helpful in finding support groups as well. So I would definitely recommend downloading the Meetup app and finding a group that works for you. And of course, you're always welcome to join the Girl I Got You support group or the Girl I Got You Women's Club, whichever one. It's just same situation, just two different locations, but same situation. And I'll be sharing those down in the description as well. So to conclude, we've covered a lot. I have covered a lot. Defining narcissism, narcissistic abuse, exploring the roles that it plays in the dysfunctional dynamic, and understanding the manipulation tactics, all of these good things. If you are someone you know is dealing with narcissistic abuse, you're not alone. Like, I know that it can be hard and it can seem hopeless, and you can just have that dark cloud that's following you around all day, all the time, and you just feel like you're cursed and trapped. But believe me when I tell you, there is healing and there is restoration. You do not have to suffer, and it might take a little bit of time, but if you keep putting it off, that time is just going to get longer and longer and longer. Start today. Start loving yourself today. You can honor yourself and say, you know what? Even though I might have no idea what I'm doing, I am making the conscious decision that I want better for myself because I deserve better. And everything will start to align the more that you do love yourself and worship your creator and tell him, God, I don't want to be in this anymore. Because sometimes we don't listen to God. Our human flesh, we say, yeah, well, I know I see the red flags, but I'm going to paint them pink, and I'm lonely. It's been a long time. I haven't been in a relationship. Let me just jump into this situation. Or, well, that's just my family, and I know that God said to distance myself from them, but I can't, and it's okay. It's okay. But God cares for you. And just know there's so many beautiful verses in the Bible. I consider them love letters. The Lord said that when your mother and father abandon you, I, the Lord, will pick you up. And it's like, no matter what you might think, it's better to be alone than to be surrounded by people who not only hate you, but are hell-bent on destroying you, right? So love yourself. Lean on your support system. Work out your definition of love and trust. Start to redefine boundaries for yourself. Prioritize yourself. Prioritize the things that you want. Put your happiness first. Fuck your kids. Fuck your spouse. Fuck your job. Fuck your family. Put yourself first. This is your life. Stop letting people drain you and siphon you, and then, you're just stuck trying to figure out, damn, how did I get in this position? No more. Not on my watch. Not on my Versace gold and silver watch. I'm not going to let you do it. And again, I'm going to be having one-on-ones where I personally work with you guys to help you through some of these difficult situations, dynamics, and just give you that life motivation. Essentially, like I said yesterday, fanning your spark until you become a roaring blaze. I am here to help you. Someone helped me. A lot of people helped me along my journey, but I had to do the work for myself. And now I'm one of those people who are going to help you do the work for yourself. Give one, get one, I guess. But if you did find this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might need it, because trust me, you are not alone. You're not the only one who is experiencing it. And especially if it's a family member or a trusted friend, whoever have you, if you think that this was informative, please share with them part 1 and part 2. Because girl, we are uncovering the narcissist and we are exposing them for their filth in 2025. But with that being said, be sure to follow for more insight on relationships, mental health, women's dynamics, and everything in between. And before I go, I just want to remind you awesome ladies that the Valentine's Day Girls Night is this Friday, February 14th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. We have a special guest speaker, Naima Speaks Life. She is a femininity and purpose coach, and I think you'll definitely get a lot of insight and information, not just from myself, but from her as well. And be surrounded by like-minded women and be able to be encouraged, enlightened, and empowered. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, lovely ladies, and I look forward to a fabulous February, or a fabulous rest of February, I should say. And you stay on the lookout for more episodes of the Love Series this month here on the Girl I Got You podcast. As always, be blessed. Stay blessed, and remember, girl, I got you.